Everyone, welcome back to Iron Class, the show where we take Iron Class Wrestling What a Run by Paul Heyman. And, I don't know, kind of doing okay with it, but I hope we just keep the momentum. Hope we keep the momentum. So, of course, this episode includes the final 2 episodes of ICW Toxic. And then we go to Heatwave. And shit is about to kick up into high. I don't know. It might do, it might not. It depends on how you see it. So let's get into the first show of the episode. We start off the show with a fatal 4-way. One half of every tag team apart from Full Throttle, which have their own matches for tonight. Second reign of 28 in a terrible match. Fred Yeti defeats... Oh, Fred Yeti, wow. Fred Yeti defeats Fowler Bar, Griff Garrison and Ross Van Erich. In 14:01, when Fred Yeti submits Griff Garrison with a Koji clutch. Let's see, Fowler Bar for 30, Fred Yeti for 39, Griff Garrison and Ross Van Erich for 44. Yeah, for the 2 fatal... because there's another fatal 4-way for the other set of people for the tag teams. I did not select who wins. This is important, because if Fred Russell wins the next match, then Fred and Fred will face the Von Erichs at Heatwave for the tag titles. If another tag team wins, that isn't the Von Erichs or Fred and Fred, they will face Fred and Fred next week to see who will face the Von Erichs at the pay-per-view. So, you know, intense shit. But before then, second rate of 60, we cut to backstage where Samoa Joe is under, like, you know the scaffolding that Roman Reigns was crushed with. He's been put under that. So he has been laid out under that, and Paul Heyman, referees find him. Robert King's there trying to get him out. Mike Chioda directs over Paul Heyman to see it, and then basically Samoa Joe is unable to solve conflicts tonight. He won't be able to stop any attacks. This is apparent in the next match, 7 reign of 48. It's in a poor match. Trey Miguel defeats Matt Cardona in 25 by pinfall with a Yoshi Tonic following interference from Leo Rush. Samoa Joe's impact, his absence, has really impacted Matt Cardona's win. Trey Miguel got a big win over a contender for the international title. Matt Cardona with a 45, Trey Miguel with a 48. That's intense shit. And then we go into the second lot of fatal 4-ways. We're 42, and about didn't have much heat and terrible wrestling. Brian Pillman Jr. defeats Fred Rosser, Marshall Von Erich, and Jacob Fatu in 13:58 when Pillman pinned Fred Rosser with a tornado DDT. AKA, next week Varsity Blondes will be facing Fred and Fred. And Pillman pinning Fred Rosser here could spell the result for next week's match as well. Fred Rosser with a 33, Marshall with a 41, Pillman with a 44, and Fatu also with a 44. And Varsity Blondes are a good pairing, which is good because they're a tag team. Then we go to 7 reign of 40 backstage. Leo Rush is there with his title, where he's confronted by Jonathan Gresham with Sean Waltman. Because Leo Rush is like smug because he just cost Matt Cardona a win. He's confronted by Gresham. Gresham doesn't say anything. He just points at the title, pats it a couple of times, and does like the thing people do when he's sticking it around their waist. But before Leo Rush is able to respond, Matt Cardona jumps him from behind, Gresham takes a couple of steps back, and those two get into a little brawl. Oh, Jonathan Gresham. Over it, by the way, let's add a little quick detail. Of course, Rush drops the title. So as they're brawling, Gresham picks up the title and clocks Matt Cardona in the back of the head. Rush is stunned. He's like, he quickly realises, oh wait, that's my title. And then Rush is also clocked in the head of the title. Before Gresham, lays the international title on Russian leaves. Yep. Gresham, of course, staked his claim last week, and this week, this is set the true message. There we go, second weight of 29. William Mack dropped to unimportant because of the losses I gave him, which is upsetting. So, in a terrible match, William Mack defeated Mikey Nicholas in 12:40 by pinfall of a chocolate thunder driver. Juice. Yeah, I'm upset about that. William Mack with 41, Mikey Nicholas with 43. Then we go to a 61 main event. It's actually a lot of multi-man matches for this show. In a decent match, Jeff Cobb defeats Alex Shelley and Bryan Danielson in 1756. When Cobb pins Shelley with a tour of the islands. The reason why Bryan wasn't there is because EC3 ran in and attacked them on the outside. Alex Shelley and Jeff Cobb with a 53, Danielson with a 76. It's a good match. Good match. But post-match, 60 rating. People get scared because EC3 pulls out a chair, whacks Bryan a few times with it, before opening the chair, and putting it around Bryan's neck. The crowd is shitting themselves for obvious reasons. EC3 lifts up Bryan and he throws him into the barricade. Of course, the chair pushing against his, of course, the chair legs hitting it fast, pushing against his throat. Of course, Bryan has neck issues, and that's the point. Because now people are shitting themselves over Daniel Bryan's safety. It's look, and Bryan is selling this like a man. He's fully out of it. He doesn't even move. He's just knock it out. He can have some movement. He's holding his neck, obviously, but people are scared for Bryan right now for obvious reasons. The show gets a 51. Not what I wanted, but okay then. Loss of okay, so lose popularity in regions again, which is annoying. But we continue on. We strive on. Increase our popularity in 55 regions, which is everywhere else in the world. And of course, we can never gain popularity in Canada currently, which is upsetting. I feel like these two ones have brought us down a little bit. If these, we had a 60 there, 60 there, a 61 there, 60 there. I mean, if these ones weren't down low, we could have gotten if these ones are higher as well, but he's down the greens on yellows. But the main headline. What the condition is Bryan Danielson currently in? Okay, we're on the go-home show for Heatwave. It's basically the show we're going to find out the condition of Daniel Bryan. Bryan Danielson, and whether he'll be able to make it. You will find an update on Samoa Joe as well after he was found unconscious last episode. The Varsity Blondes will be facing Fred and Freds to find out facing the Von Erics at the pay-per-view. And we're going to find out who will be facing Leo Rush at Heatwave also. Time for the Go Home Show! Yay! Go Home Show! Woo! Let's hope it's not a shit. We start the show with only Paul Heyman. These three are supposed to be, not on screen currently. So, Paul Heyman starts the show. He gets an update on Bryan Danielson. As he said, Bryan Danielson is not here tonight, but he will be at Heatwave defending his championship. He's going to give it an extra few days to heal up. As for Samoa Joe, he is hurt, but he'll be back he'll be back soon as well. So both of them will be back soon. As for tonight, the main event, instead of a match, it will be a contract signing between EC3 and Bryan Danielson. Danielson's already signed the contract, so he'll be on the Titantron speaking to EC3 as he signs the contract here tonight. Then we go to 40 to start off the show. In a terrible match, the Varsity Blondes defeat Fred and Fred in 13:51 when Pillman pins Yeti with a tornado DDT. So despite Fred and Fred working their way up to another opportunity, because of course they faced the Von Erichs at Sudden Impact and lost. So this was their opportunity to win again, or the opportunity, but they were unable to get in. Past the Blondes go and move on to the pay-per-view. Griff Garrison for 33, Pillman with a 43, Fred Rosser with a 34, and Fred Yeti with a 39. So Pillman doing the legwork. And we go to a 42 as Leo Rush, his backstage promo. He's basically trying to weasel out of the title match. He's like, I twisted my ankle last week when I was assaulted by Gresham and Cardona. I don't think I'll be able to compete this Saturday at Heatwave. I'm sorry to all the people who either seen me kick either of their asses, but I don't think I'll be able to defend my title. And I'm sorry to all of my fans. He's being a sarcastic prick. I'm sorry to all of my fans out there. And then, was that May 40? Both Cardona and Gresham come out. Cardona comes out through an entranceway. And he looks like he's ready to fight, so Leo Rush tries to leave. But turns out Gresham is on the outside, waiting for him. And Cardona announces that him and Gresham have talked to Paul Heyman. You don't get the weasel. Why did I say I chose to leave the room? No. Sorry. No. Let me rephrase steps. Cardona's on one side of the hallway. Leo Rush turns to the other way. Gresham's there. There you go. So he has no way of escaping. And Cardona tells him is that you can try to weasel out of this, but Paul Heyman made it very clear to us that you're either facing both of us in a triple threat on Saturday, or you'll be relinquished off the championship, and it'll be me versus Gresham on Saturday. So unless you want to relinquish the title, Leo, I suggest you start training for Saturday. And then they don't fight, those two walk off in opposite directions. And Leo is kind of shitting himself because now he has to face another triple threat. Speaking of which, Matt Cardona and Gresham have a little one-on-one to get ready. Let's see down here. Yeah, Leo Rush is special commentator. So yeah. Makes no sense, but shush. They made a 53 in a decent match. Jonathan Gresham defeats Matt Cardona in 14:28 by pinfall with a German suplex hold. His first pinfall win, I think. Cardona for 46, Gresham with a 56. I need to change this so it's a triple threat, but I won't because I don't care. And then we go into someone at 42, a debut of former New Japan star Chase Owens in a losing effort to Chris Bay in a terrible match in 12:38 by pinfall with an Art of Finesse. Yeah, Chase Owens, I signed him. He's 28. Sorry, Chase Owens, not going to be doing much. Not been doing much noteworthy in this company. So yeah, so Chris Bay for 47, Chase Owens with a 28. There you go, yeah, and then initial rating of great for this gimmick. Then we go into a promo somewhere 51 by EC3. And he has no regrets for what he did last week for multiple reasons. Reason 1, he's now got Danielson weakened for Saturday. So now it'll be easier for him to write the narrative of Champion 3. Oh god, that sounds horrible. It sounds horrible, but you get what I'm trying to do. And a nice fun remark to Samoa Joe, hoping that he's doing good at home after the nice attack that he did to him. Yes, EC3 attacked Samoa Joe, put the scaffolding on him, so that he would be able to take out Bryan Danielson. It's a smart strategy. Take out the one person that stops you from attacking people, so then you can attack for one party you want to, in a brutal way. So now Ethan, he's now on the high ground. Then we go into a nice match in lane of 36 and a poor match. Chris Hero defeated Myron Reed in 15:27 by pinfall with VKO. Chris Hero is now also known as unimportant because of how much he's lost. So, yeah, that's upsetting. Chris Hero with a 49, Myron Reed with a 38. Anyway, same lane of 48 for Destruction Crew, the first time all teaming up together to face Mikey and Nicholas, who's been brought here because Full Throttle needed a third man. In a poor match where Destruction Crew defeated Mikey Nicholas and Full Throttle in 16:11 when Jeff Cobb pinned Mikey Nicholas with a Tour of the Islands. Jacob Fatu with 44, Fowler Bar with a 29, Jeff Cobb with a 51, Mikey Nicholas with a 35, Trey Miguel with a 50, and Alex Shelley with a 52. For the two people, Willie Mack and Chris Hero, who've went down the unimportant. Trey Miguel has went up to recognisable, which is good. But of course, Destruction Crew getting a good win here. They're menaces. And now it's time for the main event segment of 57. The contract signing between Bryan Danielson and EC3. So, Paul Heyman's this is a mediator, so that EC3 signs a contract well. Bryan is connected via satellite from his home in Aberdeen, Washington. It's just a nice shoot exchange between EC3 and Bryan Danielson. EC3 signs his contract, and then from out of nowhere, Samoa Joe jumps the barricade, wrenches in the Coquina clutch on EC3, and he fully does it. He drops back and he fully has it locked in until EC3 passes out. And of course, Bryan just watching. He's like, "Oh, that seems kind of rough there, Ethan." Yeah, Samoa Joe, he's back. He's pissed. Yeah, because EC3 was just like, "Oh yeah, I did it, Joe," and now he's paying for it, which was obvious, but yeah. So Joe fully makes sure Ethan is passed out, and then he hits him with a muscle buster through the table which contract is on. So Samoa Joe, for the first time, has fully wrenched in the Coquina clutch on someone, and has used the muscle buster for the first time since, I think, Tyson Kidd. So, damn. The show gets a 50... Come on! Also popularity in 11 regions. Increase the popularity in 35 regions though. I was hoping this show was going to do better, but no, it did worse than last week's. So Sean Waltman is retiring in 3 months. So I want to ensure... That's the wrong one. I want to ensure something. He is back in 10 months. Okay, low rest, sure. Okay. So Sean Waltman will not be wrestling for us, which is upsetting. But it's not the worst thing ever. I mean, we can still have him as Question's manager. Or what we could do is just take him. If we can't have him as a manager, what we'll do is we'll take him out via an angle. And we are here for Heatwave. We start off with the show intro. It's segment of 47. It's just a way to get everyone to start off the show, try to get that, but that did not do well. Macarona helps there. Helps with Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. I suppose that lost heat, so this is actually not helpful, but I thought it would be. And we start off the show, second round of 50, Alex Shelley faces a mystery talent. Who will it be? Well, it would be the debuting Shane Strickland. His contract at the beginning of August. Actually, it's the end of July. End of July, his contract was up. Seneca sent out a contract. He signed it, and now Shane Strickland is in ICW. I mean, they kicked him out of the Hit Row records and put Karrion Kross there instead. So yeah, I don't think TEW had his best interests in heart. So they both had a decent match from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. Shane Strickland defeats Alex Shelley in 17:02 by pinfall with a swerve stomp. Shelley with a 49, Strickland with a 49. And this gimmick got initially enough great. Yeah, that's a good start. 19. What the fuck? Okay, we're gonna move on from that. Boop. Second reign of 38. Not the best, but can't complain. In a bout that didn't have much heat and terrible wrestling, the Von Erichs defeat Varsity Blondes in 13:53 when Ross Von Erich submitted Griff Garrison with an iron claw, making defense number 1 of the ICW World Tag Team titles. Griff Garrison with a 33, Pillman Jr. with a 44, Marshall Von Erich with a 46, and Ross Von Erich with a 38. So despite the fact they didn't book the Von Erichs too well and through it and make them seem like there's a lot of competition that could beat them, they still managed to get the win when it counts and retain the World Tag Team titles, which is good for them. So what's next for Varsity Blondes? Well, who knows? What's next for Von Erichs? A lot. Then went of 57 announcements for the main event, which has now been turned into a hardcore match under the request of Bryan Danielson. Of course, last week his neck was around a chair phone. It's about, okay, he wants to get revenge and he's going to get in a hardcore match, which could also end in more pain for him. Then reign of 52 for the triple threat, Gresham versus Cardona versus Leo Rush in a decent match. Jonathan Gresham defeats Matt Cardona and Leo Rush in 2019 when Gresham pinned Cardona with a German suplex hold, winning the international title. It was just the fact that Gresham is doing better than Rush. Gresham, the reason I put Rush on this because I don't know. I was like, oh, Leo Rush, sure, but I wanted it on Gresham more, so I put it on Gresham. It's a shockwave. People expect, oh, the champions only won them like 2 months ago, they're probably going to retain. Nope, Gresham wins. The unlikely one, people probably expect Cardona or Rush because that was the original feud, and I built it since then. You can see, yeah, Gresham with a 54, Cardona with a 44, Rush with a 50. Gresham outperforming both of them, which is good. And post-Max in reign of 46, now Cardona, he's been a good sport about it. He shakes hands with Gresham, raises his hand up, while Rush is pierced and storms out in anger without his title. That grin doesn't exist. That grin is no longer there currently. He's really upset. He's angered. He has been absolutely infumed. And then, okay, that's what I'm saying. This is a little bit of a cool down match, so people, can cool down from their emotions and then get ready for the main event of the evening. The bout had a decent match from the crowd, but terrible wrestling. Trey Miguel defeats Chris Hero in 14:47 by pinfall with a Yoshi tonic. Chris Hero with a 39, Trey Miguel with a 41. Yeah, that's the only reason why this one's here. Then we're in a 46, hyping up the main event. Especially just a video package, went down to an EC3, but now a hardcore match. Oh, I'm kind of scared for what the main event will get. I hope it's going to get good, but I'm also thinking it probably won't. It's probably going to stink because, for some reason, like a hardcore thing's going to ruin it. I don't know. I'm scared. I am scared. A 63. I'm fine with that. Yes. A 63. The Barber had good heat and decent wrestling. Bryan Danielson. The submission. No. It was a submission, and for some reason I wrote a hardcore, and I didn't note. It's fine. It's fine. Let's just imagine that this entire time it's a submission match on the request of EC3. Because if Brian requested, that would just be too easy for him. So EC3 requested a submission match, and Bryan Danielson wins in 24:55 with a bell lock, making defense #1 of the ICW World Championship. EC3 with a 51, Bryan Danielson with a 75. Yeah, gained heat, and then the segment ends. And then EC3 also took a stunt bump. Let's say I don't know. You guys can make that up. He goes to the announce table, maybe. I don't know. Poor announcing down. Then post-match to win 66, celebrating with his title. Yeah. Okay, now I'm hoping we got something good because we got a few 60s. A 56. Better than, not as good as I hoped for, but it's better than the actual, it's better than ICW Toxic, and it's good that the pay-per-view is better than the TV show. So I'm happy with that, kinda, a little bit. Wish it could have been better, but I will accept it, and I will move on. I'm still shocked about the 19k fans in attendance. That's just, like, what? Excuse me now? What? That's kinda shocking. Make a speech. Bryan Danielson, of course, I'll tell them that they're awesome. EC3, I'll praise you on a great performance. I'll tell Trey Miguel that he could have done better. Happy with the speech, pleased. At least for now. Ooh, that's kinda spooky though, homie.